So tomorrow's the day we've been talking about and waiting for. It's finally India versus Pakistan in the ODI World Cup. Welcome to the shiny side. I'm your host, Fareesh Shah, and today we have two guests with us. We have Umair Kazi, who you've seen before on the show a number of times. Umair is the man behind Well Pitched on Twitter and Hulk Club Guy on Instagram. And we have, for the first time from India, we have Vivek Ramabhadran. Hi, Vivek. How's it going?
Good. Great to be here.
Vivek is the founder of a sustainable jewelry company, actually. So he's also an avid cricket fan. Him and I have known him for a number of years and had a bunch of cricket chats. So I guess before we get started, Vivek, since you're on the show for the first time, how are you enjoying the World Cup so far?
It's great. I mean, I've always been a fan of the 50-over game, and unfortunately, I think it's reduced to significance only at this World Cup time. But it's nice to see for lots of good reasons. I'm a bit disappointed that I just felt that in the attention given to it in India in terms of the drum up and we've had matches with stadiums not full, which is very unlike this case. Yeah. So I think something missed a trick there. I don't know. Yeah. That's my view.
I'm curious too also about why that's the case, but I guess we can talk about that later. And Umair, how's it going with you? I see you can pump up for tomorrow with your shirt and everything.
All well, Fareesh. As I told you, Pakistan on my mind 24/7.
Okay, good stuff.
I'm ready.
Okay, so getting right into it, right? So tomorrow's the big game. If you look at the tournament context, it's actually not a very high stakes game because both teams have won 2 out of 2. They could easily lose tomorrow and go on and make it to the semifinals. So as far as the tournament's concerned, that's not really high stakes. As far as the history is concerned, it's a very different thing. Obviously, so Pakistan has won 2 out of the last 4 games in ICC tournaments against India. But as far as the ODI World Cup is concerned, it's 7 losses and 0 wins. So the general view in Pakistani media, at least, is that, you know what, Pakistan's under pressure, ji Babar Azam pe pressure hai, because hum kabhi jeete nahi hai. But the other view also is that this streak will be broken at some point, and this streak will only be broken once. So Babar Azam and Pakistan have an opportunity to be the team that actually ended it. And at the same time, Rohit Sharma and team, if they win, it's like, okay, fine, we win it every single time. But whoever loses it for the first time will always be the captain that, hey, we're the ones who killed the streak. So where do you think the pressure is? Let's go with Vivek first. Do you think it's more in India in terms of history or Pakistan, or where is it?
Yeah, I can imagine that 7-0 thing must be hard to take. I would imagine the pressure on Pakistan. I mean, it's my guess because I think the Indians come in very confident. It's also a home game. And, just going to have that unfair advantage of the crowd for sure.
Only 140,000.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel that, of course, it's going to come down to 2 or 3 key moments, which we'll talk about. But I think overall the pressure will be more on Pakistan.
What's your take, Umair?
Look, I know you mentioned we've won 2 out of the last 4, but I think we won in the T20 World Cup. And I think the last one day we beat India in was 2017. So it's been, what, 6
years? Championship final, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we've beaten them in an ODI since then. We've won a couple of T20 matches since then, true.
We've only played one, though, look, to be fair. Well, actually, that's not true. We played them in the Asia Cup quite a few, but yeah. We played them in one
Asia
World Cup,
there were 2 Asia Cups and there were 2 T20 World Cups.
True,
so there are a lot of T20 matches, right? 7-0, look, I have a slightly different view. Pakistan has nothing to lose here, right? They're in India, home ground, Narendra Modi Stadium, and 130,000 home fans, 7-0. I feel they're going to feel the pressure. Rohit Sharma is going to feel the pressure. Virat Kohli today, everyone talks about how Virat Kohli became the first Indian captain to drop a match against Pakistan in an ICC tournament. And Rohit Sharma will have that pressure on him. For Pakistan, there's nothing to lose. We've lost 7-0, might as well become 8-0, so I think they will not be feeling the pressure.
Interesting. So I guess moving on, how would you say, Vivek, starting with you, how do you say India is shaping up so far? How has their World Cup been? Have they gone according to plan? Has something surprised you in a positive way? Something you think they need is a bit of a weakness at this point?
I think India has shaped up quite well. I think they've done as well as they could so far. I think that the match against Australia was very good because it was a convincing win, but there were also very, very, they had to come out of a very difficult, stressful situation. And having come back, in that scenario being 2 for 3, I think that's obviously already strengthened the team a little bit. The match against Afghanistan was a nice batting outing. And so I feel they would be mentally in place. Plus, remember, Fariz, I think I was just checking. In the last 4 50-over ODIs, India, Pakistan have played. India won the last 3. So they'd probably go with that too. I think there's something else in their favor there.
Sure, for sure. And Umair, what's your take on how India is shaping up?
Look, India is looking like the strongest team at this World Cup. They're looking better than almost all the other teams. The only other team that is probably looking as good as India is New Zealand. But yeah, they're looking very, very good. They've got all the bases covered, bowling, batting, everything top notch.
So I do have a question for whoever wants to take it. Do you think India is too reliant on Rohit and Virat? So I feel like if you get those two early, because at the moment I know KL Rahul has scored, but he's always scored when there's either Rohit or Virat has already scored already. Is that a fair comment, or you think they're generally scoring across the board?
So, I'll go first. Yes, I think India has been heavily dependent on that top 3 for a long time. I would say that relative to the past, I think in the past couple of years, we have a little bit more now meaty in the middle order with Rahul. Now Ishan Kishan's firing as well. And, Surya is not even finding a place in the team. So, no, I think that middle order is stronger. But overall, yes, we are going to be very dependent on a strong start. There's no doubt about it, which is why those first few overs, and I think Shaheen Shah Afridi is going to be a big factor.
Yeah.
Look, I don't think they're not dependent on Rohit. They're dependent on Virat Kohli quite a bit, but not on Rohit Sharma. We've seen instances where Rohit has gone early and the team has still done all right. Virat, both of them going cheaply, yes, that's a dent for sure.
Right.
But Shreyas, KL Rahul, Pandya, there's high quality there. Even Ishan Kishan, there are chances Gill might be playing tomorrow. Gill is probably right now a bigger prize wicket than both Rohit and Kohli.
The hottest
right now in the form.
Maybe
form
not right after dengue
amazing.
fever, but I don't know. Generally, yeah. I was surprised if he'll play, by the way, but yeah, because he was in the hospital 4 days ago.
Yeah, I think he's raring to go. He was in the nets. Rohit Sharma in his press conference said 99% chance.
Wow, okay, good on him.
So,
and in terms of bowling, if you look at India, right? So, I mean, Bumrah's obviously being Bumrah, he's gone back to his best. Kuldeep has lately been having a really good time. Is he the real deal as far as the World Cup is concerned? And in the bowling, do you think there are any chinks otherwise, Vivek?
I would love to see Kuldeep Yadav play. I mean, in his limited time, he's had a good outing against Pakistan generally. He's a much improved bowler. He's a little bit of that surprise factor as well. In the first 2 matches here, he's bowling a little bit quicker, much more stump to stump. I think he's a little bit our X factor. I mean, Pakistan have had a good look at everybody else. I would hope they actually pick him. And I think there's a good chance he'll play.
Okay, good stuff. Moving on to the Pakistan squad. So, Umair, I mean, I don't know where to start. How do you see it so far? The batting lineup seems like somehow by accident coming together. We suddenly have 2 new guys in, Saud Shakil, and we have Abdullah Shafiq, played less than 15 or list A games, and somehow they seem to be doing well.
He's a World Cup debutant centurion. It doesn't matter how many ODIs he's played. But look, Pakistan is looking good, but again, we have to view that they have played against 2 of the relatively weaker sides. Tomorrow is their first big test against the big, strong team. And the batting, I think, again, the quality is there. How they handle the pressure against India. And, Babar has been out of form. There's 5 ODI innings under 30 right now. Since his century against Nepal, I think he's not crossed 30. This is his joint longest streak of no scores above 30 in ODIs. So I think this is the first time he's going into a game against India where the law of averages is in his favor. Usually he comes off high scores coming into the India game, and now he's coming off low scores. So law of averages might work in his favor this time. He has no 50 against India. Imam and Babar both average above 50 in ODIs, and they average very low against India. India is the only team that not scored against. So it depends on how they tackle Bumrah and Kuldeep Yadav.
And the guy who has a good record against India is probably not in the 11, Fakhar Zaman, right?
Zaman,
I have a very, very strong feeling that Fakhar will replace Imam tomorrow. Very strong feeling.
I would
So-
think so. I mean, he's got this good luck against India for sure.
So I guess speaking of which, right, we come right to the next thing. I'm popping up the likely 11s on the screen. So let's do Pakistan first, guys. So the 11 is pretty much the same as last time, but what I have there is I've got Nawaz, who played the last game. I have a slash Osama Mir, the leg spinner, and Wasim Jr., the bowler slash all rounder. So Umair, you go first. Who do you think? What 11 do you think we will go with and we should go with?
I think Pakistan will go with the same 11 that played against Sri Lanka,
Sri Lanka.
with the only small chance of Fakhar replacing him up.
Okay. And you don't think there's value in thinking about Osama Mir, or is it a matter of no matter which spinner you play against India, they will cream him, so it doesn't matter?
Look, if you leave it to me, I will never play a leg spinner against India, not even one.
Okay.
I will play Nawaz and 4 pacers, but I don't think they'll go that way.
Vivek,
But Shadab has a good record, no? Yeah, I was just saying,
Nahin,
doesn't
leg
I
spinners
remember Shadab
in T20.
that outing at that Champions Trophy final in
Yeah, he did well there.
2020, a big
He
factor
did well
there.
there.
Yeah.
And in T20s, he's done better. But in ODIs, generally, leg spin against India just never works.
Okay, cool. So that's
I'm
Pakistan.
just saying, just watch out for that one. I mean, because some teams actually believe that India has a little bit of weakness against wrist spin. You know,
Yeah.
Virat has gone out to that spinner in England, no?
Rashid, Adil Rashid, yes.
And even Adam Zampa, it didn't work out well, but the plan was that it would thwart India. You never know.
There was a lot of talk of Virat being weak against left arm spin also, right? So last World Cup, I was pretty excited when Nawaz came on in the T20 World Cup, but clearly that didn't work out that day. But not at all. But yeah. Okay, so moving on to the Indian 11 very quickly. I'm just pulling the score up. I guess the only questions they do have are whether is Gill making a comeback for Ishant, and then whether it's Shardul or Ashwin at 8. Vivek, which way would you go?
Yeah, so my view, there are a little more. I think there are 2 or 3 big decisions there. Obviously, if Gill is fit, but also I don't know if you just plug him into a big match like this. Yeah. But at the same time, given it's not a knockout match, I think if he's fit, they'll play him. It's early in the tournament, they'll want him. But if Gill comes in, my view is that I think they might want to retain Ishan. They'll probably knock off Iyer. Ishan can actually bat a little later down the order as well. And that's what I would do.
Okay, interesting.
For sure.
Yeah, because I think if anyone is struggling in the 11 on hasn't got that big score, it's actually Iyer, not Ishant at the moment.
Yes, Iyer, yeah. And he's got a bit of an in and out records. He's not super confident. I think on the bowling side, there's a couple of big decisions as well.
And I think that on the batting quickly, I also think India, if they have one weakness, if you can call it that, is that there's no left-hander in the top 6. So I think playing Ishant kind of solves for that as well, right?
That's true. That's also a good point. Yeah. Agree.
Umair, you were saying?
Yeah, I have a view on their bowling. So this is Ahmedabad is Mohammad Shami's home ground. And he played last 2 seasons of IPL for Gujarat Titans, and this was their home ground. He was exceptional. I feel they might try to bring in Shami for Shardul instead of Shardul / Ashwin. It might make their batting thinner, but I feel Shami has a chance of playing tomorrow.
Interesting. Vivek, what's your view on the 11 on the bowling side?
Yeah, I was also thinking about that, but I think the choice is different. I think it's between Siraj and Shami actually. Siraj has been shaping up well, but I think Shami has more experience. And for a big match like this, and that it's its home ground, I think Bumrah and Shami with the new ball, and then Kuldeep. You have, I think you've put it right. I think it's probably between Shardul and Ashwin on that all-rounders job. That's a tough call. I think they'll take that call depending on the wicket. It's hard to tell from here. If you feel it's going to take some turn, it's fine. Both can bat. So Ashwin, of course, has a little bit of that experience and that chip, like if it comes to the last over, you got to hit a 4 or something. I think Ashwin obviously has that confidence.
Which he did last time in Melbourne.
Yes, exactly. That's there. But I think that's the choice. I think Siraj or Shami, and then of course at the top. Those are the rest of it. I think is probably going to be what you have.
So I guess moving on to what do you think? What do you guys think? Whoever wins the toss, what will they be looking to do? Umair, you can go first, maybe for both teams.
Look, for Pakistan, I think they should bat first. I think the best chance Pakistan has is setting up a total 320, 330 plus and trying to defend that. If Pakistan look to chase, I don't think they can chase a total like they did against Sri Lanka against India's bowling. I think India may also look to bat first. I know there's talks of dew and whatnot, but I feel in a high pressure game, chasing under pressure is a bigger deal than dew and everything else. I think both teams will be looking to bat first.
Vivek?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that both teams actually have a similar batting style in the sense they kind of like they build up the innings, you know. It's not like England where they go bam bam from the beginning. They build up the innings and they go towards the end. So I think it always helps when you're batting first. Second is I think India, see, because the concern is always going to be Shaheen Shah Afridi, you know, in the last few years. And given that he's bowling, they'll feel for sure that although Shaheen Shah maybe in the first 2-3 matches hadn't, you know, been at his best, clearly. But, you know, there's always a chance he just pulls it up against India. I think they'll definitely feel that if they're facing Shaheen Shah in the day versus in the lights with the new ball, they'll feel more confident about going through that phase. And in India, that's the key thing. If they go through that phase and he's blunted quickly, then I think the batting will go smoothly.
Then the game is taken care of.
I think they'll bat first. And I think for Pakistan, probably similar. I think they'll be a little less confident with their bowling. For some reason, I mean, Shaheen Shah's bowling a little bit slower. Haris Rauf also so far not that great. They've not had those explosive starts so far. So I think they'll feel that it's better to bring those guys on when they're defending a big score versus to take the initiative in the beginning.
Earlier today, I came across this from 1 month ago. There was a preview of a Pakistan-India game from the Asia Cup right after we had India 60 for 4, and then I think they were 260, but the game was never finished. And it was amazing how different the tone was. This was a Crick Buzz review with Dinesh Karthik and Joy Bhattacharya. And the tone there was entirely about how Pakistan is on top of the game and India has to really figure this out. And a lot has changed as far as these two teams are concerned in the last month. So I think it's obviously gone much more in India's way than it was about 5-6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess you guys, so the only game we've seen here is the one where England scored, 290 odd and New Zealand changed it comfortably. And in that game, both captains seemed to indicate that the ball came onto the bat a bit better in the second half. Having said that, like you guys said, I guess the big match, etc. So it makes sense to maybe bat first. What would you guys say are the players to watch out for? Maybe pick one from maybe a batsman and a bowler from each team, both of you. Vivek, you go first.
Yeah, for sure. More. I think on the bowling side, if Kuldeep plays, I think it'll be quite fascinating to see that battle, actually, how that pans out. Of course, Shami as well, given it's his home ground. On the batting side, yeah, if Gill comes in, that would be lovely to watch. But otherwise, Rohit will be super confident. I mean, like also his World Cup record against Pakistan, super strong as well. So I think
and his World Cup record generally, for that matter.
Yeah. I mean, Virat's there anyway. They know that's the big one. But I think the Rohit Sharma's, you know.
And on the Pakistan side, Vivek?
Pakistan side, I think this Abdullah Shafiq, I mean, it was amazing. I mean, like the way he paced that innings that day was, I mean, it was fantastic. I think that was super. I think like on the bowling side, it's Shaheen Shah. I mean, like if he can, he's somehow been bowling 5-6 kilometers per hour less. Something, I don't know if it's something was off. If he did, I think they'll definitely be doing something to get him up to his best tomorrow. I think
just to add, the Abdullah Shafiq part was interesting, right? Because I remember the shot he played, which completely wowed me, where I think right after he got to his 100, he came down the track and he hit the shot over cover against one of the quicks in that Sri Lanka game. And the more I feel like, I just hope he has the confidence to do that in a big game against India as well in the same situation. So I guess for him, it is his first major game. Having said that, I know test matches, you don't think of them as high pressure necessarily, but I've seen him play an amazing knock in Karachi where he saved a test match against Australia. So I feel like he's the kind of guy who probably handles the pressure well, if not actually thrives in it. But I guess we'll have to wait and see.
No, he'll do. And just one, I think it depends on who's at the other end when he's batting. And, you know, for somebody like Rizwan, I think makes a huge difference. I mean, he's on a phenomenal one-day streak right now. I think big wicket for India tomorrow.
Cool. Umair, what's your take on the big players from each side?
So for Pakistan, Babar Azam, as I mentioned, he's due a big one. And I think a big one is coming tomorrow. Shaheen Afridi with the ball. For India, I mean, who else? Virat Kohli. I mean, he is Pakistan's kryptonite. I mean, and in the bowling, I think both Bumrah and Kuldeep will be quite threatening.
Okay, cool, guys. This is the part which I don't pay you the big bucks for, but like you have to make predictions now. So, who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Go for it.
It's the heart versus the mind phrase. You know, the mind says India, but Dil hai Pakistani. But I think I think we'll break the jinx. I think Pakistan.
Okay, good stuff, Vivek.
No, I mean, it's the same. The heart is very strong here. So I think India will take this. I hope it's a good close one. And I do feel it will be. There'll be some very interesting battles through the match we're going to watch. But I think India will take this one.
I mean, God knows this World Cup also needs a close game, by the way.
Yeah.
It does, and the 7 matches that India has beaten Pakistan in the World Cup, none of them have been close games. They've been all one-sided. So let's hope, whatever the result, we get a good game that goes on till the end.
But the T20 World Cup one was different, right?
That yes, absolutely. What a cracker of a game, man. What a cracker.
And I think that also plays, by the way. I'm sure that the fact that India got through the line from the situation they were in on that match, and the confidence Virat Kohli will even have, and what Pakistan will feel against him, I think that those dynamics will also
it's mentally it really affects you. I mean,
okay, good stuff.
Well, after Kohli chased that down against Pakistan, the next game Zimbabwe, they couldn't.
I think that game was like the Myanmar 6 against in '86.
Possibly.
Exactly.
Pakistan basically took over for the next 10 years. So that's the impact this match had.
Possibly. Possibly. Okay, guys, before we finish, there is the small matter of a game that's happening today, which we just very quickly have a look at and see what's happening here. So there's New Zealand taking on Bangladesh in Chennai. And we were speaking about this earlier where we said New Zealand's obviously looking good, but if there's one ground where Bangladesh would want to play New Zealand, it's in Chennai. So what's your take, Umair? You just want to talk about how the game's gone so far very quickly?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are saying Bangladesh might be able to worry New Zealand, but look, no chance. Out of all these SENA countries, New Zealand plays spin the best. And, Bangladesh put up, 240, 250 odd there. New Zealand, I'm just watching here, eight wickets in hand and just another 60, 70 odd runs to get. I mean, very easy for them.
Yeah, so they've pretty much wrapped this game up. Vivek, any comments on this game?
Yeah, I mean, I was also hoping that Bangladesh would take this one. They had chances, by the way. I think that 246 was not too bad. It's a kind of in-between decent total. And they were in the first 10 overs, definitely Bangladesh were on top. I don't think New Zealand crossed even 40 for 1 or so. And there were two chances, right? Both Williamson and Conway were dropped. I thought that Shoriful Islam and Shakib were the key. And they could, if they'd taken those chances earlier, and suppose they were maybe 60 for 3 or 4 or something. I think New Zealand, the bottom order hasn't been tested, so they could have been put under pressure, and Bangladesh has those awkward spinners and all that. But unfortunately, now it's too late, I think.
I guess the big story is that Williamson's back and he scored runs, so I think that's good for New Zealand. Good to see him back. But I guess moving on, Vivek, so we have something on the show before we wrap up. We have a quiz on the show, and since you're on the show for the first time, we'll have you do this quiz instead of Umair. Umair, I'll spare you this time around. So it's high stakes, high technical cricket stuff, as you can see. So which Indian cricketer so he follows 120 accounts on Instagram, and this includes the list on the screen: David Attenborough, Ronaldo, that's Cristiano, of course, Gerrard, official watches, and Kevin Hart. And your options are on the screen. So.
Wow, no idea. I would think Virat Kohli would probably not be doing this because his Instagram account is probably managed by some whole organization. It's probably Gill, maybe. I would go with a complete guess.
Great. It's actually Rohit Sharma. Okay. I guess the hint there was the David Attenborough part, where Rohit is probably more into the nature and environment and stuff like that. So I guess maybe that could be a hint. But anyway,
that's pretty cool. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Can I please tell you something about Rohit Sharma's Instagram?
Sure.
Rohit Sharma does not have Instagram on his phone.
So it's definitely somebody else managing it for him.
Rohit Sharma's Instagram is managed by his wife. No, it's his wife. It's his wife. His wife manages his Insta account. So it's his wife who's following all these people. Rohit Sharma has no social media on his mobile phone. He said in one of the interviews.
Okay, good stuff. Great insight, guys. You can only find this on the Shiny Side podcast. But thank you once again. Thank you, Vivek, for being on the show. It was a pleasure having you. And Umair,
my pleasure. Thanks for it.
Umair, once again, great to have you on the podcast. And let's hope for a good game, everybody.
Thanks a lot,
And
thanks a lot. Pleasure meeting you, Vivek.
Yeah, I think that's the key one. Let's hope
Yeah.
for a big cracker tomorrow. That'd be
yeah,
amazing.
and for those of you, if you like our content, please
Full
like the
stadium.
video. Yeah, go on. Sorry, we're gone.
Sure, absolutely. No, I was just saying, I hope the stadium is full and it does full justice to
I
the
think it will.
contest. Unfortunately, that's been disappointing
Yeah.
so far. And yeah, I hope it sets the World Cup alive. I
So,
think
you know,
that would
just
be
I was
great.
just thinking about this. We played India in the World Cup in the UAE T20 2 years ago with 30,000 people, maybe 50% Pakistani fans. We played in Melbourne in
Yeah.
80,000, maybe 30% Pakistani fans. Tomorrow we're playing with 130,000 people, 99% Indian fans, if not more. So it's a nice progression. But again, thank you guys for being on the show. And if you like the video, guys, please
There's
go on. Yeah.
there's a World Cup opening ceremony tomorrow as well. 11 days after the tournament starts.
Yeah, there's some kind of ceremony happening. Apparently, Arjit Singh is performing before the game.
Yeah,
But,
the opening ceremony of the World Cup
Okay.
is before
Are
tomorrow's
you
match.
serious? I didn't know that. Okay,
So-
Yes.
wow, okay.
There's there's a whole 1 hour show before the
I think
the
they'll
match starts.
hopefully everything takes off tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, guys, thank you for being on. And I'll try to do this for the third time.
Thanks.
So those of you who like our content, please like the video, subscribe to our channel, and we'll be back tomorrow night after the big game. In the meantime, stay tuned to the shiny side.